Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, Barakatam. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutations to Ya'akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. We're close, Akim, and is something you can clearly see if you're keeping your eyes in these scriptures and in the news. So just keep pushing on. This is the brother Raya with another video, and I'm going to be reading from an article on BuzzFeedNews.com titled, "The Tallahassee yoga shooter was a far-right misogynist who railed against women and minorities online." Scott Beerley, who killed 2 women in Florida on Friday, had posted a series of misogynistic videos and songs online and appeared to identify as an involuntary celibate. And this is just a sign of things to come for you westernized women rocking in that feminism vibration, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to keep building up that anti-woman spirit among men of all walks of life, whether they be liberal or conservative, right or left, to come after you. And it's only going to exacerbate during Jacob's trouble when there's no rule of law, and it's going to be dog eat dog, and these men are going to be able to do whatever they want to you women. And this brings me to my first precept in Isaiah chapter 32. I'm going to read verse 9 to 12. "Rise up, you women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech." And this is speaking of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American women who are the children of Israel. But it can also be applied to you other nations of women out there, because you're going to partake in this judgment. "Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come." And that vintage is speaking of all the goodies you women have received from the government, such as no-fault divorce, being able to take half of what a man owns in divorce court, child support, Section 8, welfare, or being able to call the cops on a man and get him caught up in anything to where he can either go to jail or get put to death. "Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine." And you women are going to humble yourselves real quick in that day when you realize that you can't do bad by all yourself and that you do need a man. And this brings me to Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. "And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man." And that 7 women simply refers to a complete number, saying, "We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." And because a man will be as fine as the gold of Ophir in that day, because without a man as your covering, all types of calamities are going to befall you women, such as having your baby daddies come after you, getting killed and eaten because there's going to be no food out here, or getting chained up in a basement and having trains and having men run trains on you for their own pleasure. And really, the only men that are going to be as fine as the gold of Ophir in that day is going to be the men of the Lord. And the only women that have any chance of being saved from these calamities are you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American women, who again are the children of Israel. But the only way to be saved is to hearken unto a man of the Lord who's out here on the highways and byways preaching this word. There's no other way. That's it, point blank, period. But there are going to be a lot of you Israelite women that aren't going to hearken unto a man of the Lord, because that 2/3 is mainly going to be made up of women. And your judgment for that is, as we'll read in Micah 7 verse 10, reads, "Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which said unto me, Where is Yahweh thy power? There is no God. Why don't you just go out and get a job and make money, you bum? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets." You women are going to be trodden down as the shit in the streets, having all types of horrors befall you because you didn't hearken unto a man of the Lord and decide to stay in that demonic feminist mindset. "The man who shot and killed 2 women at a yoga studio in Tallahassee, Florida on Friday before killing himself was a far-right extremist and self-proclaimed misogynist who railed against women, black people, and immigrants in a series of online videos and songs. Scott Beerley, 40, was named by Tallahassee police as the shooter who opened fire inside the Hot Yoga Tallahassee studio, killing 2 women and injuring 4 other women and a man. Rise, ye careless women that are at ease. And these women definitely were at ease when they were doing yoga at this studio before they got that work. Those killed were identified as Dr. Nancy Van Vessem, 61, who worked at Florida State University's College of Medicine, and FSU student Mara Binkley, 21. And I find it spiritual that it was a 61-year-old woman and a 21-year-old woman that were killed, because that 61-year-old woman would have been in that baby boomer generation when feminism really got it hooked, when it really put its hooks into you women, and that 21-year-old woman would have been the fruits of the labors of those feminist women. On a YouTube channel in 2014, Beerley filmed several videos of himself offering extremely racist and misogynistic opinions in which he called women sluts and whores and lamented the collective treachery of girls he had gone to high school with. And sluts and whores is on the light side compared to some of the comments you will read when you go to videos dealing with feminism or the relationships between men and women. It can get downright dirty sometimes with the opinions these men have of you women and what they say they want to do to you women, which they'll get the chance to do very shortly. There are whores in not only every city, not only every town, but every village, he said, referring to women in interracial relationships whom he said had betrayed their blood. Officer Damon Miller of the Tallahassee Police Department said he could not tell BuzzFeed News whether women were specifically targeted in the attack or whether the online posts were a subject of the police investigation into the attack. Everything that he has a connection to we're investigating right now, Miller said. Police said they were still trying to identify a motive, but noted Beerley had previously been investigated for harassing women. In one video called Plight of the Adolescent Male, Beerley named Elliot Rodger, who killed 6 people and injured 14 in a shooting in Isla Vista, California. Rodger is often seen as a hero for so-called incels, or those who consider themselves involuntarily celibate, pretty much those who want women but can't get them. And I did some research into that and into MGTOW, which means men going their own way, which has a bunch of other subgroups such as Black Pill. And pretty much what they're all saying is that a man should find happiness in himself without a woman, which in this current environment isn't such bad advice to take. But you got to remember that we're in a time of bounty right now where people can go to the store and get whatever they want to eat or chill and watch Netflix. When there's a state of martial law and economic collapse to where there's nothing out here and people revert back to that dog-eat-dog state, these men are going to remember the fucked up things you women did to them and come after you. I'd like to send a message now to the adolescent males that are in the position, the situation, the disposition of Elliot Rodger, of not getting any, no love, no nothing, this endless wasteland that breeds this longing and this frustration. That was me, certainly as an adolescent, Beerley said. And a lot of men have a similar sentiment to that nowadays as well. This is the second deadly attack this year in which Rodgers has been mentioned by the suspected assailant. A man who wrote anti-women references on his Facebook account allegedly killed 10 people in April when he drove his van into a crowd in Toronto. The incel rebellion has already begun. That suspect, Alec Minasane, wrote on Facebook before the attack in a post that also mentioned the supreme gentleman Elliot Rodger. Some in incel community have previously raged against women wearing yoga pants. And we got a picture of the shooter right here, which of course it was a Edomite or so-called white man. But during that time of Jacob's trouble, it's going to be men of all races and creeds that are going to come after you women. So to you sincere Israelite women or so-called Negro, Latino, Native American women out there, you need to hearken unto a man of the Lord and follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, because that's the only way you're going to make it out of these coming calamities. No woman whose man is a sweet baby Jesus is going to make it onto those chariots. And now I'm going to close it off with 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13 through 15. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Because women are ruled by their emotions, they're pretty much like children. That's why they need the guidance of a man to steer them in the right direction. Chiefly, you Israelite women need the guidance of a man of the Lord who's found these laws, statutes, and commandments. Verse 15, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. So pretty much getting rid of that feminist, westernized mindset and hearkening under these laws, statutes, and commandments and following a man of the Lord. That's the only way you women of Israel are going to make it. So with this video, I hope you sincere brothers and sisters that may be listening were edified. I'm going to say a Baba Bol, Kwam Yasharala. Until next time, Shalom.